we want to thank you for this beautiful moment, this amazing opportunity, Lord God, to come before your people and bring in your name and just bring in your authority and just your leadership in this room, Father. God, we ask for blessings upon this meeting tonight, upon the board of Alderman and Mayor tonight, Lord God. We ask your presence to come, to dwell. We ask for your wisdom, Lord God. We ask for your guidance and your hand to lead tonight, Father. Oh, blessed it is to really pray and ask for your intervention in a meeting like this tonight. And so we seek your presence tonight, Father. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman French. Alderman Anderson. Here. Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
5 are present.
Thank you. Could I have approval of the minutes for August the 1st?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
At this time, we'll have comments from the citizens. We ask to hold it to 5 minutes. Any comments from the citizens?
Is this about anything, the bridge or whatever we want to talk about?
Comments from the citizens, yes.
I want to thank Alderman Anderson for bringing this resolution before y'all. And if you think it's a non-binding resolution, don't do any good. I remember a time when there was a museum that wouldn't sell 10 feet of property. And we done the same thing. And we have O'Charlie's because y'all sent it to the county and the county done a few things and made it happen. We're talking about this bridge. There's been people married on this bridge. How many seniors have had their pictures made? How many memories? I mean, I remember taking my grandmother fishing down there. Me and Alderman Parsley, when we were kids, used to go down there and fish. This is such an asset to this town. And it ain't just Manchester, not just Cobb County. It's this whole region. You drive by Rutledge Falls, look how many people are coming to our town. That's where your tourist dollars are. It's not going to be in the $5 million the state spends builds another concrete mess. That money will go to a handful, and these memories will be gone. Once they're gone, they ain't no bringing this bridge back. And I really hope that y'all look at this as something besides spending $5 million, because you couldn't replace the bridge we've got for $5 million.
And I've got to ask you, we always ask everybody to give your name and address when you come.
Do what?
I forgot to ask you to give your name and address when you came up.
Okay, I'm Jimmy Jernigan. We own Coffee County Realty and several properties in town. And
Address.
or my address, or business address, or where I live.
Where you live.
I live at Cambridge Estates. It's out in the county, but we own business, and I got 3 duplexes inside the city, so I think I should have a right to say something. I vote in the city.
I know, I always ask people that.
Okay.
Okay.
The thing about it is our state has $1.6 billion surplus. I know they got money to burn, but they can use this to enhance that park, and we shouldn't be afraid of the state. The state works for us, just like y'all do. And if you do the right thing tonight, I'm asking you to support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments or citizens?
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Riddle on behalf of the Greater Manchester Economic Development Board.
So, next address as well.
My address is 277 Country Lane. The Greater Manchester Economic Development Board has been really working on some marketing pieces to market the great things that Manchester has to offer. So I brought you kind of a slide deck of what we've been working on, and we have a website that went live on Friday, and it's moremanchester.com. So the whole premise of this is more Manchester, more amazing, more Manchester, more opportunities. So what we're trying to do with this is really market our area, and this group was tasked with getting some more retail options to complement, not take away, but complement what we already have. So we are on track to do that, and I just wanted to share this little snippet of information and see if you guys have any questions for us.
Anyone have any more comments from the citizens?
My name is Christine Pike Chilton. My address is 101 Regency Place. It is in the county. I work in the city as well. And I just wanted to read something real quick. So, as far as the bridge is concerned, glasses on here. I am a member of the Save Our Old Stone Fort Bridge Group, okay? We have accumulated over 2,500 members working to stop the proposed removal of our historic landmark bridge and the construction of a $5 million replacement one-lane bridge. We are adamantly opposed to the removal of this historic and beautiful bridge and the rest of this project. A beautifully designed RV dedicated entrance has been built to access the campground off Country Club Drive. The campers love it and do not want to access the campground on a one-lane bridge. TDOT and TDAC have stated one of the reasons they now seek to close that expensive new entrance, remove the historic bridge, and spend $5 million on a new one-lane bridge is because of the residents of Country Club Estates want that. This has been proven to be totally untrue. In going from house to house in that neighborhood of 100 houses, I have here the results of these questions and the people also that are against this, okay? All were resolute and felt strongly enough to put their signatures on this, about 30% of the total. One can extrapolate that to an overwhelming majority of the 100 homes in that neighborhood do not want this bridge removed and another built. This landmark bridge is showcased on all city and county publications. It's a piece of living history. It's been an important part of Manchester for 53 years. It has been the backdrop for thousands of our citizens in their special moments. It's one of a kind, and your support is essential to our campaign to stop this fiscally, morally, and historically irresponsible project. Please pass this resolution. It's the right thing to do, and I do have 28 signatures, 27 signatures from people on Country Club Lane that are against this. If you all want to take a look at it, I've got a couple copies that I can pass around. If not, that's fine too. That's what we want to say, okay? And that's backed up by 2,500 people in Manchester, and some out of state that have visited the bridge as well. Thank you.
I would ask you to hold applause. I mean, it's not a ball game, and just keep it at regular meeting. And I ask if you're bringing up something about the bridge, if it's something new that hasn't already been introduced.
Hi there, my name is Steve Bolden. I live at 638 Country Club Drive, and I want to thank each and every one of y'all for this resolution. I hope it pursues into the county and on to the state. I just think that the idea here that I would like to see expanded is that this is a resource. Just like the river that runs underneath of it is a natural resource. We spend $5 million, we'll be bridge rich and historically poor. We have that building over there and that bridge. My concern is we're losing it. If we want to be homogenized USA, we got a Chick-fil-A and everything else. What's going to draw people here? And my feeling is this should be the jumping off point for Nashville and Chattanooga. You can go east and west. If we've got a tourism board, that's what I would say. That's what we need to be promoting, not taking away, just add to the park. It's a natural resource, all of it. The bridge is just as much. It's on the National Register. It's eligible for the National Register. It should be left there as it is. You put it over on a trail. I know you guys probably know the whole spiel. I don't need to go through all that as you say. But that's just the gist of it. It's a resource. It's nothing to be moved over. And the more important thing, what brings all of us here and all of this hullabaloo is the federal 106, the section 106, and the Board of Health is not public. If we'd have had proper meetings, if we'd have had people aware and grace period, this would not be happening. I go to cities, I have property in other cities in the country. I get a mailbox full of historical commission, this is what we're going to do. I can lean them out on the table. I've been to California where they put up a placard as big as your county. In detail, you will see this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. It's not a sign that talks about there's a proposal. This is laid out in detail. Folks can stand there and read it, get the gist of it, come to a civic meeting, over and done. That is the reason we're here, because and you have that from the federal government so that historical things are managed and not disposed of.
Thank you. Anybody else have comments that has not been brought up already?
I'm Joe Little from Franklin County. I feel very much out of place being here.
Can you give me your address, please?
Pardon?
Your address, please. Your address. Home address.
My address?
Yes.
4260 Gum Creek Road, Denver, Tennessee. I have great interest in the bridge. Few people, I probably got more interest in it than anybody here, more relation to it. But my grandfather was the man standing on the bridge with the warden at about 1972 when it was moved. He was on the bridge committee when it was built. He hauled the lumber for the bridge committee when it was floated. And I've lived and raised within 2 miles of it all my life. So it means a whole lot to me. Quite frequently I have drove by and just sat and kind of meditated over the old bridge and what it meant to my grandfather and so forth. Financially, I have no big interest in that at all here in Coffee County. I understand that. That's the reason I said I feel so out of place. But I would like to see the bridge stay where it's at. I'd like to have it in my backyard if I could, but that's a little unpractical. So, other than that, I appreciate your time and I thank you.
Okay. Anyone else that has something valid? I think we've gotten the drift of everybody's comments and if not, we'll move on to
one of the public speaking. So Joe McKeon, 485 Brigham Road, I'm in the county.
But, and I understand all the historical and stuff that's going on with this, but for me, as a taxpayer, it's $5 million to put a bridge that doesn't need to be in. That's all our money, so I know it's only $5 million, but it's $5 million, so.
Thank you. If not, I'd just like to welcome everybody here as the mayor and thank you for your comments. And we just, we like concerned citizens and just thank you for your comments. Right now we're getting into committees. Safety committee.
Safety committee met in August for our normal meeting, and we'll meet again in September.
Finance.
Finance also met in August, and we're going to skip September. We have a member who can't be there, so we'll have our regular meeting in October.
Okay, street.
Our next meeting will be the 14th at 5:30 at the street department.
Water and sewer.
Our next meeting will be Thursday on the 7th right here at 3 o'clock.
Recreation.
Next meeting is September 14th at noon in the recreation center.
Tourism.
Next meeting is in September.
Planning and zoning.
Our meeting is scheduled for September 18th at 5:30 here in the boardroom. The agenda should be posted on the website by the end of the week.
Information systems.
Kenny, do we have anything?
Nothing to report.
Historic zoning.
We did not have a meeting, and the meeting for this month is also canceled.
Getting into resolution.
A resolution authorizing the city of Manchester to apply for a state of Tennessee Department of Transportation grant for new LED lighting at Interstate Exit 110 and 114, sponsored by Mayor Howard.
Do I have a motion to approve the grant for the LED lighting?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded. The motion is as stated. Any comments from the board?
So the county, even though we're asking for it, it's a $900,000 project, and we're just 20% back.
It's 80-20. It could go to $1 million, but it's 80-20. But it is a it's very much needed for safety and just get it on and off the interstate. Right now, we're having costing a lot. It's not LED. There's shortage in it that we're spending a lot of time and money.
Yeah, it's costing the city a lot of money. They're just trying to keep the lights on. You get one on, they come a little shower rain, and then they go out.
You know, we've had problems with
It's been going on for a long time.
And for District 2, we were chosen to get this grant, so it is a good opportunity. Any more comments? Thank you, George. If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries.
B, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Bobcat E60 compact excavator with attachments at $87,906.90 for the use of the Public Works Department of the City of Manchester, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The motion is as stated. Any comments from the board?
This is in the budget. This is not anything new. When we passed the budget this year, we allowed this, and it's a state bid, so.
Any more comments?
Yeah, George, we need this, don't we?
Yes, sir. That'll help us on our sidewalk. Help us get them, some of the drainage easements between houses.
Thank you. Any more comments?
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Resolution C, a resolution authorizing the City of Manchester government to present this resolution for presentation to the state of Tennessee for its consideration that the Duck River Bridge located at Old Stone Fort State Park should not be removed, sponsored by Alderman Anderson.
I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board?
I would like to explain why I brought this resolution. I was unfamiliar with the history of the bridge, and I was unaware of the state's plans to dismantle it and put a new bridge in its place until I saw the public spring into action on Facebook and this amazing grassroots movement that was totally, because of people's connection to this bridge. So that's how I learned about it. I don't think we should necessarily vote the wishes of the people every time that the room fills up, but this is an extraordinary group of people, and they've done an amazing amount of research, an amazing amount of work. I'm constantly impressed with the time that they're spending on this and the stories that we've uncovered. I think unquestionably this is a tourism asset, and if it weren't, it wouldn't be plastered all over our website and our promotional materials. So it is valuable to us. I don't think that we did, or the state did, the due diligence to check with all the stakeholders. I mean, it never came to this board for a vote up or down that I know of. I don't think it went to some of the other stakeholders, and I think that's why you see the public so passionate about this right now, because we're threatening something that they consider to be very special, and the memories that they have with their families there, the fact that this river is very special to the people that live here, and we've already done so much unintentionally to jeopardize the biodiversity of this river with our sewer problems. I would hate to see another unnecessary project devastate this delicate environmental treasure that we have here. I would also like to say that if you don't support this, would you please do us the service of letting the public know why you're voting against it? I continue to be frustrated by hearing from members of this board that they may or may not vote for something because of something another member told them outside of a public meeting, which is incredibly disrespectful to me as a member of this board and to the public. We're supposed to conduct the public's business in public, and if someone thinks, if they're under a false impression they've received bad information from someone else outside of this meeting, then that's not fair to everybody. And I'll respect everybody's vote on this, but I think there's no question we should do whatever we can to save this bridge. Thank you, guys.
Any more comments from the board?
So I've got a couple questions. So if we don't go through with letting the state replace the bridge, what is the cost to the citizens of Manchester? I mean, if we do nothing?
My understanding, Joey, is this bridge is eligible to be listed on the Federal Register of Historic Places, and so it would then be eligible for funding. But this is a symbolic resolution. I don't think we have any fiscal responsibility for this bridge. Is it possible sometime in the future, if this is saved, that they might approach tourism about hosting events there or something like we do in other places? That's possible, but I don't think we're committing city funding to the funding of this infrastructure.
So the state will always own it. I mean, if we send a resolution that says we're not interested in a new bridge, then the city of Manchester won't have to repair it. I mean, who takes ownership after that? Because isn't it their recommendation that you take it down and put up a new one?
I think that they've released some conflicting reports, and that's part of where the controversy is, that there are 3 engineering reports and some parts of each conflict with them. I don't think legally we're assuming ownership of the bridge with this. This is the part where we say this is important to us as a city. Please say that it's a tourism asset. That's what we should have said when the process started.
So again, I mean, I think this is telling them we don't want to repair the bridge or replace it. Is that correct or no? Is your resolution
We want to preserve
that we're going to send
for a pedestrian bridge?
Well,
Okay,
go ahead.
I've heard, and you can tell me if it's true or not, that if we don't replace the bridge, we'll have to repave and widen about a mile in Country Club. That costs you a little over $100,000 to the city. We make that permanent. Is there anything?
I'm told that if that bridge stays in place, all federal money on this project that was presented, it will be pulled out. They can't, and that bridge will be in place. It will belong to the parks for upkeep. That maybe money can be funded that will keep it up, but they cannot put another bridge beside it because if you have to have, that would be too big of a footprint over that river. That when all this came up, I mean, it was a situation where I wasn't involved, but it was, they said, you know, there was a grant that was fixing up bridges in the park. And the bridge, this particular bridge is, the steel is I think it's A36 steel. They don't make the steel anymore. So they came up with the project and whether it went through the process, because we really didn't have a position in that, but they went through the process, that they got, it went through a legislative movement. So if this bridge stays here, that we look at our courthouse, just because it's a landmark, that does not mean that the state or the federal will supply it with money. So, you know, I'm looking, I've heard the other side of it, but it will, if the bridge stays, the only other entrance in the park will be through Country Club Lane, and all federal money will be pulled out. Right now, there was agreement made with the TDOT to design it. It's 1 year away from groundbreaking. So if it's turned down, they will pull all federal money off, and there won't, they could not take federal money and put it into this, or they didn't. But they didn't want to repair a bridge that the steel was not even, and anytime it's a landmark, you pretty much have to keep the same material. And, you know, I can understand everybody's wanting to save the bridge, but you know, I know that the state parks, you had the Rockefellers who came in and they donated money, and, you know, if we got that kind of money, then but that's all I've heard. But I'm just listen to every side of the story. But if the bridge stays in place, I've been told the only other entrance will be coming through the Country Club entrance, and it will be up to the parks, which to keep it up.
We got about a mile, is that what?
1-4.
I've heard that it's going to cost us. I'm just asking, I'm asking a question here. I don't know. And I've also heard that the bridge is going to be moved and still stay in the park, even if it's moved where it is.
It won't be over the river.
It won't be over the river.
No, sir.
I thought it was going to be see, I thought that it was going to be a walk, pedestrian bridge.
The state's not committed money for that either.
According to Ms. Morgan's research that she has shared with me, the most recent document I've read says that they intend to put a portion of the bridge, which will not be the whole bridge. And the only reason I believe they propose this is because they have to mitigate the historical damage, because they know they're removing something that's old, right? So they have to meet that section that they quoted and do something, quote, historic with it. They say that they're putting a portion on what was the old something trail?
Dixie Highway.
Old Dixie Highway, but that conflicts with Library of Congress reports, but they're saying that they're going to have it there as a ruin. So when they describe it as a ruin, it doesn't sound to me like it's going to look anything like what we're used to seeing now.
Any more questions?
I will be voting, but, you know, at this point, that I don't have enough information that there will be enough money to keep it up. I mean, I'm concerned about if the feds have pulled the money out, we've got a beautiful courthouse that's got a plaque on the wall, but it's crashing in and we don't see a lot of money coming, but that's just my comment. If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion fails.
Getting into ordinances.
Ordinance A, a second reading of an ordinance adding provisions to the Manchester Municipal Code regarding citizen comments, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Shameful.
Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded. The motion is as presented. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
B, a second reading of an ordinance to add a provision to Title V, Chapter 7 of the Manchester Municipal Code to adopt a cybersecurity and bid policy, sponsored by Alderman Parson.
Could you shut the door, please? Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The motion is as read. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Mayor, does this change our bid policy?
It changes our bid policy, if you want me to answer, in that it requires certain language in our request for bids that deal with software or hardware, to include the federally mandated language so that we don't get in trouble on the audits. Ms. Smolder, did I describe it the best way?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Well, I guess what I was asking is this bid policy strictly cyber?
Yes.
It doesn't affect George getting a fire truck or George getting a backhoe? That doesn't affect that bid?
It's for software.
Just software.
Okay, I'm good.
Any more comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
C, a second reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 1-110 relative to policies and procedures committee, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
I hear a motion. I hear a second. Okay, it has been moved and seconded. The motion is as presented. Any comments from the board?
Says I can't.
Not call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
D, second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by 2415 Construction LLC on Shelton Road from R1 to R2, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. This is a public hearing.
Mayor,
Yes.
we tabled that last meeting. I talked to the Alderman on now the next two, I think I'm not going to get that. That was the next two.
To take it off the table, you have to have 4 votes. I'll just read over the ordinance. just a second ago. You have to have 4 votes. Our ordinance requires everything to have 4 votes, and if somebody would like to tell those folks out there that's why that didn't pass.
That's the question they want, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can hear them. You have to tell them that our ordinance requires not only a quorum, but it requires 4 of 6 votes to pass any motion, resolution, or ordinance.
Yes, sir.
For any measure.
So I hope next meeting, we'll have
Somebody's upset out there.
next time, on vacation, we'll have full morning, we'll make it subject.
Are you thinking
I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna leave it on the table for somebody.
This is on the agenda. We were going to
So it has been tabled.
It's still taken from
Last month.
no, we didn't have. So to F, first reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Lloyd Glenn Chapman and Sean Trail on 811 Lynchburg Road from R3 to R4, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
That's another one, table. Table those 3. D and
I'm sorry, I heard you say next after 2, and that's why I did that. All right, G, first reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Wesley Parker on 814 South Spring Street from R3 to R4, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
oh, somebody.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the ordinance that we're looking at is as stated. Any questions or comments from the board?
Hey, I want to say something to Wesley. And you know, I'm 4 years planning commission. But I've been preaching 5 years since I've been here. That what comes up from the planning commission and the committees, unless it's just grossly wrong, the board needs to go on. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to vote against you tonight because I think that the board, I think we need to follow what your recommendation is. But that's required.
I'd like you guys to take a second look at the ordinance that Craig wrote. At the planning commission meeting, we had to appoint Ward Johnson as our chairman. At the meeting, Ward Johnson seconded the motion. As the chairman, he is not to do that. So his motion was null and void. When that happens, Mr. Parker still has the right to bring his rezoning before you all, to my understanding. So the ordinance states that it is brought before you all with neither a negative nor a positive recommendation. Wow. It's at the discretion of the board.
I'll let you comment. I thought it was a negative recommendation.
That's in the ordinance that Craig has written.
Should I explain that? Somebody said good job. All right, so what is the good job?
You know,
I mean,
that's no way to know that I've asked to meet many, many times. I've tried to communicate many, many times. We have many, many issues with recommendations coming from the planning commission. I just think it's very clever you found a way to not have an opinion on it. That's all, and I'm just impressed.
my recollection was
when we ignore it on everything
was
else.
the planning commission, I was told, voted, and it was a tie, right? So that's neither a recommendation for or against. There's no good job there. That's a recitation of the facts. That's what the ordinance says.
Any more comments from the board? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy.
No.
Alderman Hobbs.
No.
Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion failed.
H, first reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 5-733, Committee Award Procedure, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second? Yes, it's been moved to second. The motion is as presented. Any comments from the board?
What are we doing?
Amendment C 5-703, and it's basically where the code did not jive, the title of the code did not jive with the wording in the code. And it basically said from 10,000, in the title it said from 10,000 to 24,999. It should say 34,999 because that is the committee award parameters. This was pointed out to us by a state, I guess, audit committee that was looking at a grant application. So it's basically a mistake in our code that is corrected by the correct title.
Any more comments? If not, I'll roll please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
First reading of an ordinance to add a revision to Title VI, Chapter 1 of the Manchester Municipal Code to adopt a service awards upon resignation or retirement policy for the Manchester Police Department, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Has everyone read this? Any questions about the badge and the gun? Will it be retroactive?
I don't think it would be retroactive. Unless you make it retroactive in the ordinance.
Yeah, if I could make that request, Mayor, that we do make this retroactive back through the retirement of Captain Vandergrift and Sergeant Guthrie as well.
So that needs to be a resolution.
You can just make a motion.
I make a motion, we amend this ordinance to make it retroactive until June 30th. Is that when they left?
The 28th of September.
September 28th to the 1st of September.
I'm sorry, 28th of August.
Oh. I make the motion that we make it retroactive to August 1, 2023.
That was a couple years ago.
Any comments from the board? It's been moved and seconded that the ordinance is as read, that we're going to make it retroactive to the last two that.
Yes. Come on.
Any more comments?
I make a motion. I'm looking for a second.
Yeah, we good.
Yeah, we got that.
We did it. Okay, we're voting on the motion to amend the ordinance. If no more comments, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Now we would, I entertain a motion to, in a second, to add the gun and the badge ordinance. I hear a motion.
We already had one, we just amended it.
Okay, wait a minute. Who? All right. Okay, moving right along. Any old business?
We need to vote on that.
Oh. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
What? Appreciate your help on that. Okay, now we're getting into new business. The citizens' appointments and committees. You have a list of the citizens' appointments. In the planning commission, I get to no vote is required. I'm asking putting Alyssa Fletcher back on. Have you had an opportunity to look at the list? Y'all want to just make a motion to approve the list, or go at it one on one?
Approve it all at once.
Did I hear a second of that motion?
Show y'all this.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the applicants that are on the list, that we approve.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's gotta be closed. Yeah.
Any comments?
Ma'am, not while they're conducting business.
If not, call the roll, please.
Some idiot.
Some of it is, vote required, voter.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Next is the BOMA appointment to committees and commissions. Since Vice Mayor Messick was appointed at the last election, he holds that position to the next election. The rest of it is the safety committee, and I've kept everybody on the safety committee except Bob wants to go on the street committee and replace Ryan. You're going on the street committee replacing Ryan.
You're not taking me off safety.
No. He's going to be on the street and safety.
Whatever you need me to do.
Make a motion to approve them all.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion is to approve the whole list. Any comments from the board? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we have, next is the street light on Woodland Drive. Do I hear a motion to approve the street light on Woodland Drive?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the street light that's going on to Woodland Drive. Any comments from the board?
Cost, what, George, $1,400?
Yes, sir. I didn't bring my paper with me. I thought I did.
That's the area where there's no light.
It's right behind the, right off of Hills Chapel Road.
Yeah.
And it's pretty dark.
Any more comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Aye. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Now we're getting into recreation and parks, part-time job descriptions. Have y'all read over the job descriptions? We will vote on this as a, in the whole or regular part. Do I have a second to vote on it? As you've read it, going over each job description, each, I hear a second on that.
I'll say.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the parks and direction, part-time job descriptions, audit supervisor as a lump sum. Any comments?
The agenda's got a and pay increase.
problem approving the positions. I'd just like somebody to explain what the pay increase is. And if that's the one we've already talked about, then I'm good with it.
I think we're gonna vote on pay.
That is,
The pay increase is for the aquatic staff, we talked about the finance committee, that's the pay increases. The other pay increase for that part-time staff, the finance committee has to come back with other numbers about their recommendation. We put in the budget for pay increases for the aquatic staff at 10% for the part-time staff. But recognition and department, we feel like a 10% for the part-time staff is not enough to be competitive to hire new employees or retain who we have. That's why we're going to revisit the other part-time employees. The aquatic staff increases is to keep us current with Tullahoma, McMinnville, and Showville with surrounding us.
And that's already been passed in the budget.
Yes, that's already in the budget.
Spending money that we don't.
Correct. The only item we need to talk about further is the increase in pay for the other part-time staff at the later date.
So this is already budgeted?
Correct.
what's through finance. Any more comments?
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Carries 5-0.
Next, we have the job description for the Manchester Police Department Captain revised job description. Everybody had an opportunity to read over that. Any questions about it?
Why did we revise it? What do we need to do to it?
One of the reasons is the way that job descriptions are currently written. Say if an investigator as a patrolman decides he wants to try out the investigation division for a while. He does a superb job, and maybe later on he decides, well, I think I'd really like to go back into patrol. There's no way for him to go back into the patrol division. As far as, once he gains that experience as an investigator, he still doesn't have the required supervisory experience. So therefore, we feel that 3 years as an investigator, you're giving directions to officers every day on your job. You're directing and controlling crime scenes, assigning tasks, and things of that sort. Over a period of 3 years, you're probably gaining some valuable supervisory experience in addition to the investigative experience, which if they decided they wanted to go back to patrol, then that would give them an avenue for either applying for a sergeant position or even applying for a captain's position. So we're requiring, the initial reading was the captain prerequisites was that you have a high school diploma and that you have extensive law enforcement experience with supervisory experience in the current department. So what we are asking change is that we ask for 3 years of relevant experience as an investigator, which we feel would be equivalent to, say, a sergeant working 104 hours a year, because our captains are off. They have an 8-hour early. So we feel that they would gain that much experience over that 3-year period. And so we want to change it to where they can do 3 years, and then if they elect to come back, then they're qualified to come back and apply for a sergeant or a captain position. Otherwise, they're just stuck in the investigative role. They can't make it back because they have no prior supervisory experience.
Thank you, Chief. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion is to approve the...
Bill, does that mean that you become an investigator? You automatically you qualify for the position as far as captain. Your service doesn't matter or anything like that?
Yet you would qualify to apply. That doesn't necessarily mean you would become the next captain or the next sergeant, but you would have the necessary supervisory experience to be considered for the position. position.
They would have to have 3 years in investigations in order to claim that, right?
Yes, yes, you couldn't go from like a patrolman to an investigator, and then 1 month later decide, well, I want to be a captain, so now I qualify as a captain. That won't work, and that's what we want to try to avoid if we can.
Okay, but in the case being, they can now.
Yeah, if this was passed, they can come back and apply for a captain or a sergeant position, should they desire to. As of right now, they can't because there's only one, the chief investigator holds any supervisory experience whatsoever. The other ones are all from patrol to investigations with no supervisory experience.
So you're just giving more people opportunity to step up.
That's exactly what we're doing, yes.
That's a good thing.
If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Now, items from the board. Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy.
I just, same thing as every month, I just keep brag on our city employees enough. They do a whole lot with very little.
I got to tell y'all a story. I've got a lady that calls me every time something goes wrong in the city of Manchester. She's a sweet older lady. And she called me the other day, she had a wreck. And I thought she was going to talk for 30 minutes talking about how good the police department was to her. Apparently they helped her out of a wreck. They took her home. They went to Bojangles and got her some fried chicken. And she was just tickled to death. And she wanted me to pass along to all the police department her feelings that y'all are doing a fantastic job, and I'll second that too.
God.
I just like to thank everybody for showing up and appreciate everybody for being
Can I ask a question, please? I would just like to know how much each person has spent researching this topic, because I know that Deb Morgan and myself have spent a tremendous amount of time, and the questions we heard were really valid earlier, and the answers were not true at all. I have to be quite honest that maybe it's confusion, and if there's anything we can do to alleviate that. We met with Representative Bricken earlier this year, and I told him, you know, back when you were elected, he was elected with building infrastructure and so forth, and I said, I know you wanted to take part in that money, and he said, yes, we did, but you know what, that money's there every year. We may not get this fast. Just because you can get it, you don't need to use it, but it'll be there next year. And it's 0.4 on the mile and that needs to be improved anyway, because it is the city's property. You must admit, paving is going to come one way or the other. The bridge has nothing to do with any of it. So, I mean, if there's more, if there's any question at all, we will civilly bring Deb back in and answer any question. I beg you. I beg you. If you have a question, please.
Well, my comment is, as I stated, that I have been asking questions, and I was not ready to vote. I couldn't vote, but I was not ready to vote on it based on what I've heard, and that I don't know everything, but I had to be honest. I sat here silently, but I have not totally researched it. But anyway, we can talk later. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Deb gave everybody a packet last night to review. Did anybody review it? Just raise your hand for me. Did anybody read anything she gave you?
Can we adjourn first?
Thank you.
And keep the order of the house. Okay, I hear a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, her heart's broken.
Your second.
Yeah, I'll second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Sir, wait, I can talk to you after the meeting.
We can talk right now. Let her come.